Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Creamer. I'm in the library classroom, so you might get like a good side profile of me while I'm talking. Today, we're going to be talking about smart savings, helping students access affordable course materials. Get to that screen. Okay. And just something I like to start out my sessions, just kind of having you reflect, what would you like to get out of the session today? We're going to be covering a variety of topics, and I hope that you can pull out 1 or 2 points that can inform your teaching. Now I'm going to go ahead with PowerPoint, and so I won't really see the chat till the end. I think you can always unmute if you want to ask me a question. All right. So yeah, my name is Cynthia Creamer. I'm one of the faculty librarians here at JJC. And over the past couple of years, I've been doing work on OER and incorporating library resources into your courses. So today we're going to talk about the impact of course material costs on students. We'll explore some affordable alternatives to traditional textbooks, and then learn about the different ways to collaborate with the library to support student success. So I wanted to start off with some data from the 2023 Illinois Course Material Survey. So this was conducted in 2023 by the Consortium of Academic and Research Libraries, so CARLI, across 52 institutions. So 4,600 students participated, and this included 22 community colleges. The students on average spent $298 per term on course materials, and full-time students spent an average of $315. So why is OER important? Why are we talking about it? So there's several points of why OER is important. So the first is to reduce the cost of educational materials for students. OER also offers faculty a lot of flexibility because the resources are easily accessible, and you can adapt them to different chapters, to different things that you need. OER is considered innovative. So if you can use different parts of OER or open software, I know for example, our math department has some courses using OER textbooks and open software. And the idea is that it levels the playing field and allows everyone to access the material. So let's go back to that course material survey. So in the Illinois Course Material Survey, because course material costs were so high, 69% of the students did not purchase required materials. 41% took fewer courses due to costs, so that's an enrollment drop. 23% earned poor grades due to affordability, so whether that's failing or withdrawing. And students sacrificed things like food, medicine, and experienced stress over the cost of course materials. What are some of the student preferences that this survey found? They found that 74% of students preferred zero-cost digital materials. 63 of them did have courses with free materials, so this isn't a foreign concept to students. They definitely have one or more courses that has free materials. The students also valued lifetime accessibility and mobile usability. So they like the idea of being able to go back and access their textbook a year or two later. And students appreciate if the textbook includes varied backgrounds and things that they can access. All right, so those are some of the student preferences. I wanted to show you this now. It's hard to see. This goes from 2000 to 2021, and it just shows you the cost of educational books, the consumer price index, and the cost of recreational books. So over time, the textbook cost has grown from 100 to 250. Consumer price index has gone from like 100 to 150, and then recreational books has kind of flatlined at 100. So I thought this was an interesting visual so that you could see that, the textbooks that we bought 20 years ago, 25 years ago were cost less than they do now relative to the consumer price index. So why support OER at JJC? So these are some reasons that you might want to support it at JJC. Again, it directly addresses some of our student financial challenges. OER does improve academic performance and equity. There's several research articles that, chart, we'll take like 7 classes, right? And some will do OER and some will not, and they track the grades. So they're more micro studies, but there is evidence that it does improve academic performance. It also aligns with our statewide affordability initiatives. So Illinois has invested a lot of money statewide to develop OER materials. And so, this kind of goes with, our statewide initiatives. And it also supports inclusive and accessible education. So those are kind of the 4 points for why you should support OER at JJC. In April, I did attend the 2025 Illinois Open Education Summit along with Denise. I see she's on here as well. And so what was the focus? So the focus was really how do we move forward with promoting open educational resources at all of our institutions. And they did introduce the Open Education Maturity Model to assess progress. We, like many of our partners, so 80% of the institutions are in those early stages of introducing faculty, like introducing the definitions of OER, beginning adoptions, so we're not, other states, Texas, California, may be further along, but here in Illinois, most institutions are in these early stages. Some of the common challenges, which faculty may know, would be lack of time because you have to redo a course to adopt a new textbook or new resources, lack of funding, so there's not really stipends available for it, training, and getting leadership buy-in. And then some of the goals just from this summit were to focus on zero textbook cost degrees and more adoption across institutions. So I wanted to touch on 2 definitions. So there's terms, there's open access and open educational resources. So open access is free online research outputs. So these can be specific journal articles, books, and data. And anyone with an internet connection can access an open access material. And it's free of most copyright and licensing restrictions. OER is more teaching focused. So it's teaching, learning, and research materials that are available for use, and they're designed to be used, adapted, and distributed. So the type of materials there are textbooks, lecture notes, assignments, tests, projects, practice homework, anything you would use to create a course, right? Anything you would use in a course. So how does open access relate to OER? So again, open access materials are a variety of information that's freely available. OER materials are a subset of open access materials. So OER materials are always open access, but not all open access materials are OER. So just a little clarification between the two. So the importance of open access for faculty and students. So in general, by having open access articles, and when you search in our library database, you will see almost half of our materials are open access. So this increases the availability, impact, and reach of research, and it provides equal access to the research outputs. And it just allows ideas to spread faster. So, the open access model has been going strong for quite some time. And again, it's lifelong learning because anyone can access it. They can Google an article, and instead of saying, pay $35 now, they can just get to that article and see the research. So types of affordable course materials, I kind of listed that before, but again, there's the OER, the different textbook places, library licensed ebooks and articles. So that's another option, right? Because if you get a book licensed through the library, unlimited users, you can use that, embed it in your course, and the students can have access to it. So you can always check with us if we can get a book with unlimited users. We also have course reserves and lending programs. So, we do have the textbook collection here, and we do have course reserves. So those are all options. And then, of course, freely available materials you can include. All right, so now I'm just going to go over some of the main collections. All right, so this is Open Textbook Library. I do have links in all of these. I was just going to go through all the slides, and then if we have time, I could demo one or two. Open Textbook Library. So this is from University of Minnesota. They are promoting this. I am currently in a certificate for open education librarianship. So that is through them, through the Open Textbook Library. So through, again, Minnesota. So openly licensed textbooks, essentially. There's also OER Commons, and we have our own hub on OER Commons called Open Illinois. So this is, we even have a little hub for JJC as well. So as our initiative grows on JJC, this is a platform in which we could host open materials that we create or would like to use. And we are in Open Illinois. You're connected. Any of the Carly received grants to develop open textbooks, and those are published in this OER Commons, Open Illinois. Merlot. So Merlot is from California. So it's free and open online teaching, learning, and faculty development. There's also OpenStax. So OpenStax is, one of the beginnings in OER. And for calculus, for example, for calculus courses, they are using calculus from OpenStax. So they have a variety of ones that we can, I'm just gonna hit my door here real quick. Okay. After OpenStax, LibreText. So LibreText it's kind of related to Merlot. It's from California as well. And the OpenStax textbooks are in LibreText. So LibreText kind of combines, kind of like almost like a meta search for OER. The calculus books are on there, so you could access them in either format. So, and what's nice about all of these is you could order printed versions of the text. And Helen in the bookstore is very very supportive of OER materials, and she will get printed versions of textbooks for your class as well. The last one I have it's Canadian, but it's pretty good. So it's called BC Campus Open Ed. So, it's just another place to search for OER materials. Oh, and then Directory of Open Access Books. I'm sure if you've gone to the library website, if you searched our discovery tool, you've seen directory of open access journals. So this is the same thing, but it's for books. So again, these aren't quite the same as the textbooks, but these are open access books on a variety of disciplines. All right, so one aspect of OER is how do you license it? How do you know what you can use? What are the permissions? So going hand in hand with OER is Creative Commons licensing. So I just wanted to give a brief overview on that. So for Creative Commons licenses, and we'll see some examples, there's 3 layers. So there's a legal code, which is like the lawyer readable terms. There's the common deed. So Creative Commons, is an organization, and for each of their licenses, they have an online deed that explains the license terms. And then it also has a machine readable level so that you can, when you're searching, you can pull up things from each type of license. So these are the license elements. So the first is a little person icon, and that's like the most important one, right? Attribution by. And so that's that you must give credit to the creator. The second one is a money symbol with a slash, and that's non-commercial. So only non-commercial uses of the work are permitted. The next one is share alike. So whatever terms the initial license is, you have to share your version in the same amount. And then no derivatives. So that's if you can't really adapt the work. You could still adapt it for use in your class, but you can't really share it out. So we'll see, you'll see all of these combined into different licenses, right? So the very first one is that CC by, so you have to attribute the author. And the other one is CC by share alike. So you have to attribute the author, and you can make changes, but then you have to share it with that CC by and share alike as well. There's the CC by attribution, no derivatives. So again, you're not going to make a derivative and share it. A CC by and no cost means that you can't use it for commercial purposes and make a profit on it. And that's often a requirement for these OER textbooks that are produced through grant money. And then they get a little more complicated. So CC by attribution, no cost, no derivatives. So can't sell it, you can't make changes. Or CC by no cost and share alike. So you can make changes, but again, you can't profit from it. There's also the symbols for public domain. So if you create something and you indicate, if you want to say it's for the public domain, you can pull that null symbol. And then the no copyright symbol is for things that are already known to be free of copyright restrictions. So, yeah, public domain tools are used to mark things that are free of copyright. There's no conditions for use. You can use those with no restrictions, right? And then the Creative Commons licenses, you just kind of have to look at them to see what you need to, what kind of attribution you need to put in the work. And many of these OER textbooks, they have the attributions built into every page of the book. So, and here's another, this is just like a mapping of copyright licenses. So you can see you've got open access here, that includes public domain, all of the CC BYs. You've got the open educational resources. So those are ones you can adapt and change. So it takes out the no derivatives, and then you just have free works, right? So this is just kind of like another way to think about open access, open educational resources, and free works as well. So Creative Commons licenses don't limit or restrict any rights. to copyright. So fair use still applies, fair dealings, and stuff that would be allowed under existing exemptions does not need to rely on Creative Commons license. I know this is a bit of information, but the beauty is if you have copyright questions related to any of this, you can contact any of us at the library. All the libraries are ready to help you with any copyright questions. So I thought I'd give you an example request from last semester. So I had a professor contact me looking for a book for careers in healthcare. She's teaching the course now, and the book she has, she doesn't really feel was good, a good value for her students. So I did some searching. I searched careers in healthcare and open book, and I was able to find a lot of different materials. Many of the open books, when you're searching for them, are going to be in the Pressbooks format. Of course, you know, I went above and beyond and I found government websites and library books, supplemental materials, kind of gave her a list. So I could do this for any of your classes. Here's the example of the book we found. So this one, I believe it's from 2023, and it was divided in chapters very similar to what she had in her original course. And you can see this one is CC, you can see the CC attribution, no cost, and share alike. So that's like a common license. All right, so moving outside of OER, we do have library subscriptions. So the library has subscriptions to the New York Times, the Atlantic, the Chronicle of Higher Education, and the Chicago Tribune. So you can get the New York Times. Students can get free access to the New York Times app. They have free access to the Atlantic app. So any articles from these publications, you can assign students and they're able to access them. And then, you know, we do have our discovery tool, and any article, streaming video that we have access to, you can embed in your course. We have databases in most subjects. So there's a new EBSCO interface that came out last semester. And so you go in, when you click on the article, you can click on that share button. There's a little share arrow on the right, and then you can click create link, and then you can link to it in your course. And of course, we can help you with any of that. How can a librarian help? Again, we can search for open material for you. We can find a bunch of resources. We can search all those different places I listed. We can search our ebook collections, and then we can help you with any copyright and licensing questions. So yeah, just to recap, OER, it's free materials. They can be adapted and customized. Some of the places are OpenStax, Merlot, BC Campus, and the library is here to support. And, you know, when you're evaluating materials, you consider the cost. You can go in and use our library options. You can review licensing, and you can get student feedback on materials. That was one of the things that was really interesting when I was reading that 2023 course material survey, was the positive feedback that the students had on the open resources. There really wasn't much negative feedback that was recorded. And we know students, they love to give all feedback if you checked your course evaluations. All right, so the last thing, or what I wanted to end on, is that I am developing an OER action plan for JJC that's going to go for the past, you know, for the next 3 years. And these are the 4 goals that I have in this action plan. The first one is to gather specific JJC student data on their preferences for course materials, and do that through a campus-wide survey. And I'm going to base it on that 2023 Illinois course material survey. And what makes our environment unique is that we're very heavy inclusive access. So many of our students pay for their materials with that inclusive access fee, the Cengage Unlimited. Many of them are Cengage Unlimited. And so we really want to drill down and see, what are our students' preferences so that we can customize our OER plan based on that. The second goal that's going to be part of this OER action plan is to increase awareness of OER for faculty by offering workshops like this one and one-on-one support for course development. So we're going to continue to offer support and training on OER for faculty over the next 3 years with the hopes of, finding faculty that need it and want to add OER to their courses. The third goal is that we're going to investigate and implement a course marking system with maybe possible recognition similar to what we've done with Quality Matters. So I'm working with Chris Oswinkle on that. This is what would we call it? A long-term goal, right? I'm also reaching out individually to faculty that have open courses just to kind of get a gauge of enrollment and cost savings for JJC, as that's another thing that institutions typically track with their OER plans. And then I also very much would like to have an incentive plan to entice faculty to work on OER. So I'll be working on that as part of this 3-year action plan. I think that's it. These are just some of my references. I did recently do a Creative Commons certificate, so that's where all the Creative Commons material comes from.